good afternoon, everyone. So, thank you for attending the sprint planning meeting for the sprint three for the HANMA project. So, today's meeting is very important because we will decide that what we realistically complete during the next 2 weeks. So, as we know, Hand Hub is an online marketplace, so designed to help the small business to sell the products. So many creators do not have the opportunity to reach the large audience. So our platform have the opportunity to create a simple digital marketplace where the sellers can upload their products and buyers can easily discover unique handmade goods. Well, during this meeting, we will review the product backlog, determine our sprint capacity, discuss risks, and select the sprint backlog item that our team will commit to the delivering. So this is sprint will last 2 weeks, so which is the equal approximately 10 working days. And also our goal is to deliver the feature that move the platform, which is closer to working in the marketplace. Before we begin, so for the backlog items, so I would like to product owners, Catherine, to explain that sprint goal and the product vision for the sprint. Can you explain, please?
Okay, thank you, Ahmed. So, the overall vision of Handmade Hub is to create a user friendly online marketplace where small businesses can sell handmade products directly to customers. Currently, the platform already allows users to browse products in a catalog view. However, buyers cannot yet interact with products or begin the purchasing process. So, the goal of Sprint 3 is to introduce the core shopping experience. Specifically, we want buyers to be able to view detailed product information, add products to a shopping cart, and start the checkout process. At the same time, we also want sellers to be able to register and upload their first product listing. If we successfully deliver these features, we will have a minimum viable product or the MVP workflow that demonstrates the basic functionality of the platform. So this workflow will look like this as you saw in the screen. So the seller uploads a product and then the buyer views the product. And then the buyer adds the product to the cart and buyer begins checkout. So this will be an important milestone for the project.
Well, thank you so much. So before we move forward, so let's briefly review what we accomplished the previous sprints. So in the sprint one, our team will be focused on the building the technical foundation of the system, and then we're gonna create a code repository, implement the continuous integration, and also design the initial database schema. So we also develop the user registration and login system. In the sprint two, we're gonna focus on the building in the product catalog. Buyers can now browse the products and filter them by the category. However, so the user will still cannot view the detailed products because the purchase is already purchased, right? So this is why the sprint three gonna focus on the editing, purchasing, and the functionality.
So looking at our product backlog, the highest priority items for this sprint includes the product detail page, shopping cart, checkout flow, and seller onboarding. So these features support the sprint goal and move the product closer to a working marketplace.
So I have a question about the product detail page. Beside the product image and description, what other information should be displayed?
Great question. So the product detail page should include product image gallery, product description, materials used, price, seller information, and the add to cart button.
For the shopping cart, should the cart remain saved if the user refreshes the page?
Yes, the cart should persist after refresh so the user experience remains smooth.
For the checkout process, sorry. For the checkout process, will we integrate real payment during the sprint?
Not yet, because payment API keys may not be ready. We will implement a mock payment flow for testing purposes.
Well, thank you so much again. So next we need to determine our sprint capacity, right? So our historical velocity is approximately like 30 stories per the sprint. However, several teams members have the exam and coursework during this period, right? So therefore, we estimate like 20% reduction in capacity, like 30 times 0.8, which is like 24 story points. Does everyone agree that 24 story point is realistic?
Yes, I agree. Reducing capacity is reasonable because of our academic workload.
I agree as well. 24 story points seems manageable.
Yes, that should allow us to complete the sprint successfully.
Well, based on the priorities and capacity, the following backlogs item within our sprint capacity. Well, the first one, the product detail page, like 8 points, and the second one, shopping chart, like 5 points, checkout flow, 8 points, and seller onboarding, 3 points, which is the total is like 24 story points.
These items support the sprint goal and allow buyers to begin the purchasing journey.
I would like to take the responsibility for the front end design of the product detail page and also checkout interface. That the so the for the product detail page, I will design the user interface so that the buyers can see the product images clearly and description, materials, and seller information. The layout will focus on simplicity and usability so the customers can easily understand the product before deciding the purchase. I will also ensure that the add to cart button is clearly visible and easy to use on both desktop and mobile device. Since many users shop on their phones, the pages must be fully responsive, right? For the checkout interface, I will create a clean form where buyers can enter their shipping information. I'll also design a order summary section so users can review items before placing an order. Throughout the development, I will continue to test the interface to ensure navigation is smooth and the users can complete the checkout process without confusion.
And I will work on the backend API for product data and order creation. In addition to the backend API, I will also focus on structuring the database queries to make sure that product data loads efficiently. Since the product detail page will be accessed frequently by buyers, performance will be very important. And then I will also design the API endpoints so that I front-end team can easily retrieve product information such as product images, descriptions, seller information, and pricing details. This will help maintain clear communication between the front-end and back-end systems. I will also implement validation to ensure that the data returned from the database is accurate and consistent. This helps prevent errors during the checkout process. Finally, I will also collaborate with the other developers to make sure the API structure supports future features such as product reviews, search filters, and seller dashboards.
I will handle the seller onboarding process and cart persistence. For the seller onboarding process, I will design a simple workflow that guides new seller through the steps required to start selling on the platform. The goal is to make the process quick and easy so small business owner can create their first listing without technical difficulty. The onboarding system will include a seller registration page followed by a product listing from where sellers can upload product image, write description, and set prices. For the shopping cart persistence, I will implement a system that saves cart information even if the user refreshes the page. This improves the user experience and prevents buyers from losing selected items. I will also coordinate with the back-end and front-end developers to ensure that the cart data remains consistent across the platform.
Thank you so much, Umang. So now I would like to talk about the risk discussion. So before we finishing the spring backlog, so we should discuss possible risks. So what's the possible risks for that?
One possible risk is payment integration delays if the API keys are not available.
So, to mitigate this, we will use a mock payment system during development.
Another risk could be large product images slowing down page load times.
We can solve this by implementing image compression and lazy loading.
Oh, that was the fair enough for me. So now let's review our definition of done. So a backlog item will be considered complete when the acceptance criteria were made, and then code is per review, and then task pass successfully, and feature is deployed to staging, and no critical bugs remain. Everyone agree about that?
Yes,
Agree.
Yeah.
agree.
Well, to summarize that, the team will need to commit to delivering the following items during sprint three. The first one, a product detail page, and then second one, is shopping chart, and then third one, checkout flow, and then the fourth one is seller onboarding. So, which is the total around like 24 story points. This feature will allow the buyer to view products, edit them to a chart, and start the checkout.
This is a major step toward launching the Handmade Hub marketplace.
Well, yeah, before we finalize the sprint backlog, so it would be helpful if we receive the complete product backlog to contain that 15 prioritized user story. So, which is this will help the development to understand the overall roadmap of the project and ensure that the selective sprint items align with the product vision. So, Catherine, could you walk through for the backlog table?
Sure. So the product backlog includes 15 user stories, so each describing a feature from the perspective of either the buyer, seller, or product owner. So these stories are prioritized based on their business value and technical dependencies. So let's start with the first few items. For the user story one, it states that as a buyer, I want to browse the product catalog so that I can discover handmade items. So the acceptance criteria require that products appear as tiles displaying the product image, title, price, and the seller information. So the catalog should also support pagination or infinite scrolling, and the page should load within 3 seconds.
Oh yeah, this feature was implemented during Sprint 2. We also connected the front-end catalog with the product database and added category filtering.
Well, that was great. So, this is main user story already meets the definition of done.
Yes, for the user story number two, it's one of the key items for this sprint. So as a buyer, I want to view a product detail page so that I can see images, materials, seller information, and decide whether to buy. So the acceptance criteria for this story includes product image carousel, product description, materials used, product price, seller information, and the add to cart button.
The product detail page also show the related products or
Yes,
no?
that could be a useful feature, but for the MVP, we will focus on the essential product information.
Okay.
So for the user story, it states, as a buyer, I want to add items to a cart and review them so I can prepare to check out. So the cart should allow users to add or remove items, update product quantity, see the subtotal for each item, and view which seller the item belongs to.
Hey, one question. Should the cart remain saved if the user refresh the page?
Yes, the heart should persist after refresh.
We can implement cart persistence using local storage first and then synchronize with the backend later.
Absolutely. So for the user story 4, it describes the checkout process. So as a buyer, I want a checkout flow so I can place orders. So the checkout page should include shipping address form, address validation, shipping options, and the order summary.
Did the checkout process include payment integration?
For the sprint, payment will be mock. So we will
Okay.
only create the order record in the system. For the user story 5, it involves integrating secure payment using Stripe. So the payment system should tokenize the card information and ensure that sensitive data is not stored in plain text. However, this feature depends on Stripe API keys, which may not be available immediately.
Well, does this may need a schedule this feature for a later sprint, right?
Yes, for the user story 6, it focuses on sellers. So as a seller, I want a simple onboarding process so I can list my first product. The onboarding process will include seller registration, access to a product listing form, and uploading product images and price.
So should the seller be able to upload multiple images for each product?
Yes, but we will limit the number of images initially. And for the user story 7, it allows buyers to place orders without creating an account. So this feature is important because guest checkout can increase conversion rates.
Question, will the system send confirmation emails for the guest checkout?
Yes, confirmation emails will be sent after the order is placed. So for
Okay.
the remaining backlog items, represent features planned for future sprints. So this includes product search and filters, product reviews and ratings, seller order management dashboard, analytics dashboard for the product owner, order confirmation emails, image optimization and lazy loading, wishlist functionality, and the messaging between buyers and sellers.
Those features will also significantly improve the marketplace experience once the core purchasing workflow is complete.
Well, thank you so much again, Catherine, for the explaining the backlogs. Now, the team understand the entire product backlog, right? So we should select the item the best support the sprint 3 goal. Based on our priorities and the sprint capacity, the following items are the best candidates, like product detail page, shipping chart, checkout flow, and seller onboarding. This is for items equal at 24 story points, which is matches our the sprint capacity.
From the front end perspective, this feature should be done within like 2 weeks sprint.
Uh, yeah, the workload seems balanced.
Well, that was great. So the team is obviously committed to these sprint backlog items. Man, I mean, like before we close today meetings, so we will open a short session for the stakeholders question, which is this allow the stakeholders to clarify direction of the project and also ensure that the sprint goal aligns with the business expectation. Catherine, as the product owners representing the stakeholder, do you have any question or feedback regarding the sprint plan?
Yes, I have a few questions for the development team. First, I would like to understand the expected user experience for buyers during the sprint. Once the sprint is completed, what exactly will buyers be able to do on the platform?
Once sprint 3 is completed, the buyers will be able to click on the product from the catalog and view the detailed product page. The page will display product images, description, materials, pricing, and then the seller information. Buyers will be able to add products to their shopping cart and review the items they want to purchase. And then the buyers will also be able to start the checkout process by entering their shipping information.
That sounds good. So, my second question is about platform performance. So, since this marketplace will include many product images, how will we ensure that the website loads quickly?
So that is an important concern. Large images can slow down the website, so we plan to implement image optimization and lazy loading. Lazy image optimization will resize uploaded images to an appropriate size, while lazy loading ensures that images only load when they appear on the user's screen. These techniques will help maintain good page performance.
Great. Another question I have is about seller onboarding. Small business owners may not be very familiar with technology. How simple will the onboarding process be?
So we designed the onboarding process to be very simple. Seller will create an account and then access a new listing page where they can upload product image, add product description, and set a price. The interface will be straightforward, so seller can list their product within a few minutes.
That sounds good. My last question is about future features. So, when do we expect features like product reviews, messaging between buyers and sellers, and analytics dashboards to be implemented?
Well, I mean, like these features are currently in the product backlog, but the lower priority. So this is gonna focus on the deliver the core marketplace functionality, which is including browsing product details, shopping chart, and checkout. One of these table this feature is going to be stable, which is the team will start implementing additional features such as reviews, messaging, and analytics in the future sprints.
Thank you for the explanation. From a stakeholder perspective, the sprint plan looks well structured and aligned with the product vision.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. For discussion today, so let me summarize the key discussion made during this sprint planning meeting. The first one, the team reviewed the product backlog containing like 15 user stories and clarify the acceptance criteria for the several key features. And the second, we're gonna confirm that sprint 3 goal, which is the enable buyers to view the product details and adding a product to shopping and begin a checkout process while they're also allowing the seller upload for the first product. Third one, we're gonna calculate the team capacity based on our historical velocity of the 30 story points and adjust into the 24 story points, which is due to academic workload and exams. Fourth, the team selects the following spring backlog items like product detail page, X story points, shopping chart like 5 story points, checkout flow, X story points, seller onboarding 3 story points. So which is the totals around like 24 story points, right? So now we're gonna also discuss the potential risks such as payment integrations and last image affecting the performance. Mitigating strategies were identified for these risks. And before we officially close this meeting, I would like to confirm that the team will need to commitment. Does the development team agree to complete the selected sprint backlog item, which is the two-week sprint?
Oh, yes, I commit to completing the backend API work for the selected features.
Same. I commit to delivering the front end components of the product detail and the checkout flow.
Yeah, I will implement seller onboarding and cart persistence functionality.
Well, that was excellent. So the development team has officially committed with the three sprinter backlog. And also, I would say like thank you so much for everyone today for your time and your participation. So our next step are to developer will begin working on the sprint backlog items tomorrow, and then the team will hold the daily stand up to track the progress and address any issues. And then at the end of the sprint, we're gonna conduct with the sprint review and also sprint perspective to evaluate the result and also improve our process. And I really appreciate everyone contribution today. So let's work together to make the sprint successful. And the sprint planning meeting is now officially concluded. And thank you so much for today for the meeting.
Thank
Have a good
you.
night.
Thank you.